guys. Today we're just working on some firewood. We got a decent pile there coming. There's a little pile there and there's a little bit there. There's some scattered in through there too. But taking a break from the chainsaws at the moment. Just using the excavator. I was using it to lift up the logs and then cutting them then so that the saw didn't get into the ground, but then the excavator here decided that it needed to burn the exhaust stuff or whatever. So when that happens, then you can't use the thumbs, so it wasn't working real great. So I just started cutting it up here on the pile and kind of cheating at the moment. Instead of using, getting out and lifting up the blocks of wood on my own and throwing them in the pile, I'm using the excavator and just picking them up and setting them over. Obviously it finished its cycle or whatever, so everything's working again. So yeah, get back to it here. Get you sit down on my pocket, maybe you can kind of see. There is a radio, but I just been using my headphones because we're going back and forth with chainsaws and stuff. But yeah. this. The best way I found to do it is to set the phone in the pocket and the camera peeks up over the side, and seems to work the best for me, and it gives me both my hands to work with still, and I haven't really figured anything out better yet, but yeah, you tend to get jostled around a little in the excavator here. Happy this one's got a cab. My dad, he does excavation and stuff, and so before this one he had a John Deere excavator, and it had like a roll cage, but it wasn't, you know, like enclosed in glass and stuff like this is. So pretty nice. This one's got AC, heat, and everything, but the other one didn't. They get a little cold in the other one in the winter. Oh, and to start it, you had to pop the air filter out a little and squirt it with ether, because the injector pump was weak or something. And then towards the end, you had to stall it to get it shut off, because the shut-off solenoid was, fuel shut-off solenoid was junk. Tried replacing it, but within a couple of minutes of use, it burned itself up. So the pump, or the shutoff valve, the excavator still worked. That's why we had to stall it, because it wasn't working, and he gave up on trying to replace it, because the one that he tried originally replacing it with, you know, got too hot or something and just melted. So my uncle bought it, and he uses it to pack trash at a transfer station that he runs, so still gets used. You could probably say semi-retired, but obviously the excavator here is in between jobs. It was here, well, we brought it home yesterday morning, and I said to myself, perfect, I'm going to work on my firewood. Get some of these bigger ones blocked up. The little ones are alright, because you can just cut them halfway through and then you can roll them over by hand, but not so much with the bigger ones. But I think there was, right here, or what this particular wood here, I think was 2 1-ton truckloads, so it's a little well dried, we'll say that. It's not rotted, but it's almost like it's got a dry rot almost. But I think there's some pine, a pine log that I'll drag home here. We'll see if I can get into it today or not, but yeah, just up the road. I'll just drag it down with my tractor. And speaking of that, I'm sure some of you watched, if you didn't watch that last video of me building wheelie bars for the tractor, you should go back and watch it, but those of you who have probably are wondering how I did. I did better than the first time I tried. I was, originally I was going to work on, we were going to get weights all hooked up somehow and everything, and then I decided that I didn't want to bother with it because I didn't really have time. But then I got there and the tractor weighed, initial weigh-in without weights or anything was 30,910 pounds. So, which means I would be pulling in the 4,000 pound class. So, with a bunch of older guys, they're all real nice guys. Dad was with me, so he walked up he saw someone he recognized that he had bought parts for his trailer, the equipment trailer, asked him for any pointers for a beginner, because that's what I was. And so he came right over, and he looked over my tractor and everything, and in the end we were able to actually borrow weights from a bunch of people. So we got the tractor weighed right up to 4,000 pounds right on the button. And so we ran that class. I don't even think I got to hold the sled over 100 feet. I think it was like 96 or something. But the first tractor pull I entered it in was kind of like a free-for-all, if you will. And I didn't even move the sled then. So the first pull was 4,000 pound class. And then the second time I pulled, it was in the 4,500 pound class. So we got it all weighed right up to 4,500 pounds, and was able to get it pull the sled even further, which second gear in that tractor with 4,500 pounds was about perfect. And got towards the end, about as far as the tractor would pull it, and the tires were both spinning, and was able to mess with the brakes, going back and forth tapping them, and I was able to get it to crawl a little further. The announcer guy was pretty impressed with that. So safe to say I was definitely the youngest guy there pulling, but it was fun. I got a few things to figure out to do for next time I pull, which there's another fair coming up with the antique tractor pulls that I decided I'm going to enter in. So it's the same pulling company, sled company, if you will. The same people who own the sled and everything who are doing it up there. So it's perfect. The classes the weight classes are staying the same. So about everyone I talked to suggested raising the drawbar, which is a good idea, but the drawbar itself can't be raised any, so we'll have to fabricate something up to raise it up so that it's pulling, like the clevis is in higher than what the actual drawbar itself is. So that, and I want to figure out how to do some weights. I'm thinking I'm going to run the same 2 classes. So we'll see how it goes this time. Luckily, I don't have to build wheelie bars again. It wasn't too hard. The worst part about it was that it was like 90, 95 degrees both days I was working on it, and sunny and humid. So it was not real enjoyable welding and torching and stuff. On the last day, I finally pulled out like a little tent thing and set that up over where I was working, and it was a little nicer then. But so yeah, we got, that fair's in the middle of September, so and that one's in it's like an hour and a half drive from here, so see how it goes. I'm excited. This one's during the day, so it starts at like 9 to, and it goes to like 4, so from 9 to 4 instead of 6 to, I don't know what time it was that night. If it was like, I don't think it was quite 11 o'clock when we got back from doing that tractor pull. But yeah, worked out pretty good. I took my tractor in and I set it up in they do an antique tractor competition at the fair here, so was able to get it, or had it there. And then the day of the tractor pull, I just went. My dad's cousin is the president of that fair, so you could say I have a direct line to the president, just not in the United States. But so I was able to pull out the tractor from the competition for the couple hours for the tractor pull, and I just took it back, and yeah. I didn't win anything in that. Well, both times I got third place for both my pulls. So, I mean, pretty good. You know, I made a little money. It was $25 reward for each time. So I made $50 and I only spent $30 to pull. So you could say I made a total of $20. So $20 easy money, you would say, because I already own the tractor. But yeah, we got the tractor brought home the other day because the fair ended, and ordered some parts for that. You know, just the clutch kit. I ordered a carrier for the throwout bearing, and head gasket, or I don't know what you call it, head reseal kit or whatever. And I feel like, and the rear main seal kit. So I already have a sleeve and piston kit for that tractor. I figured I might as well drop it in. So I ordered, you know, like the head kit and stuff, reseal kit. So yeah, the piston and sleeve kit is kind of a funny story. I originally was ordering, you know, I had to order this piston and sleeve kit for the Farmall A, which I've been kind of working on here lately, and accidentally ordered two. And so kind of, you know, started out working on getting it returned and everything, but then I forgot all about it. Now when I remembered, it was past the day requirement that you could return the parts. But it ended up not being a big deal because it also fits the engine that's in the other tractor. So, you know, it's the same piston and sleeve kit. So the other tractor will have a 3 1/8 overbore. I don't know off the top of my head what it should have, if that's truly going to be an overbore, if it's just the same size. But yeah, so we got that pile there of wood, and so this is what we got already, and there's some more over here. I actually got to throw there's some split stuff over there by the wood splitter into the back of the truck there, so that we have a outdoor wood boiler. So that's what that wood there's for. This wood over here is getting cut up, hopefully to put in, or split and everything for the sugar house. Same with this wood here that I've been working on. So could get interesting. Last time I tried dumping something out of the box of that truck. It came about halfway down and then it stopped. So we had to use the tractor and a hay bale and put some down pressure on it to get it to go down the rest of the way. So still debatable whether I'll actually be dumping the wood out or if I'll be throwing it out. But yeah. I think deciding whether I want to end the video now or I think I'll wait. I'm thinking maybe I'll try going up. The house that I'm going to is actually just, you know, like if you shoot straight up, there's a hay field and a cornfield over here, and then it's the house. So pretty easy. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'll try to go retrieve that log now. It's second home, so no one's there right now. Haven't decided how I want to go about bringing it home, whether I want to just drag it right down the road, or part of me wants to, just to see, you know, what would happen. But should I? Probably not. Would it be the easiest way? Yes. But, yeah. Catch up with you later. Alright, so we got up here with the tractor here. The log I'm after is this one right here. Obviously from here it doesn't look like very much, but it runs all the way up there. You can see the driveway's right over there, so it goes right up to the edge of the driveway, and it's, you know, all right sized. So I think I'm just gonna grab a chain, wrap around it. We gotta pull it this way, and then I think I'll just pull it down here, get it straightened out maybe. It's gonna take a little finagling, obviously, because there's a curve in the driveway because it runs down over there. So we might pull it out, pull it up straight, maybe at a little bit of an angle, then pull it back down. There's some fields down here. Ultimately, I'd like to pull it off of that end, the bigger end, not this end. But I didn't think about having these branches on it, so I might just drag it, get it pulled out, you know, down there somewhere, and then come back to the chainsaw and limb it and stuff. So yeah, just gonna grab a chain. I'm gonna hitch right onto the shackle there from the tractor pull. See how it does in the real world. Obviously we got no weights on it, but yeah, get it all hooked up and go from there. Alright, we got chain hooked up. The nice thing about, you know, hooking up here is that there's branches to help hold the chain up. These chains I got have a bigger hook on one end, so you can hook it, you know, around, or put the chain itself right in the hook and it will pull it tight. So it works pretty good for doing this. So this kind of stuff. See what we can do. I'll try giving it a little jerk. Don't do this at home. And I wonder why I need to put a clutch in it. I think it moved a little. Try again. I don't think it's moving. I need to unhook it. Probably not real good that I'm doing this with one hand, but I mean. Alright, so my consensus now that I just came up with myself is that I'm going to hook this other chain in. And we'll give it a couple of yanks. I don't know. I may not have enough room. I might go home and throw a bunch of weights on it. Alright, catch you in a second. Try again. Well, yeah, we broke the log. Not the chain, just the log. Probably shouldn't have done that. Oh boy. Well, at this rate, we won't have any limbs to cut off. You just gotta look at the bright side. Yeah, it was a little thin. I wasn't really intending on it being this hard to drag it out. So I'm gonna see if I can wander up in here, because I wonder if I need to maybe get myself going kind of crosswise to pull it this way, give it a good jerk to get it freed up or something. But oh, well, hold on. This is what the log itself looks like. Yeah, you can see it kind of runs. Not really, huh? Yeah, you can kind of see it runs up pretty far, so. I think I'm going to do that. We'll come over into here maybe. Yeah, it's up in the air here, so it'll work good. Try to get up. This is about. Whoop. There's a hole. Hang on. Let's try this again. Okay. All right. So I guess it's kind of up in the air right there too. I just stepped down off the log and my foot disappeared. Okay. Let's get back to it. Enough talking to myself, right? All right. Well, she did it. What I ended up having to do was jerk it that way, to get it to wiggle a little. And then, just kind of keep wiggling it back and forth, and it got to the point where I was just backing up, and then hitting it. And I started out in second gear, hitting it in second gear, giving it a good yank, and then I said, screw this. I threw it in third gear a couple times, and finally, in third gear, she finally jerked her loose. So I'm going to say right now, I would not recommend doing this at home. If this chain was to snap, although it's a tree, you wouldn't think it would. I would highly doubt that tractor would snap the chain. But still, if it was to snap and come back and get you in the side of the head, it would probably leave a mark, to say the least. This tree's a little spongier than I was anticipating or assumed, because all I was really seeing was this end right here. You could only really see it like this sticking out. So I think definitely at least to get a good couple blocks of wood from it, and the rest of it, I mean, down here is where all the firewood's really gonna be. But it looks kind of good for the most part up until in here. You kind of get this, but who knows? You don't really know till you cut into it. So it could be perfectly fine. But we're gonna come around to this side. I just had a thought. I hope my mom doesn't see this video. She probably wouldn't be impressed. Come back up to this side. I think we can throw it. The chalk should be perfect. We could throw it around this, and that notch there will hold it, the chain. So I made, to go back a little bit, I made the comment about, when I was first started jerking on it, about why, I wonder why the clutch is gone, or is going, slipping. But the first time I hit it up, I think I hit it in third gear. It's safe to say, with the clutch out, neither tires were spinning. And after a second, I started smelling a smell. The very distinct smell of clutch materials. So it's probably good that we're doing this now. Now without the new clutch in yet. But half of me's debating whether when I'm coming up, if I hook the chain around some of these things here to break them off. Yeah, there ain't really much holding them on. So I think I'll do that. We'll wrap the chain around some of these, and as I'm pulling up, to there. We'll snap them off, and it ain't gonna lighten it up very much, but yeah. All right, I better get back to work. The times you wonder if it's really worth it. I literally, I went to pull ahead. The chain came unhooked, obviously. I rolled back a little, thought it was enough. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. Now I gotta walk, not this very far, but I mean, yeah, almost there. Almost. That's kind of annoying. But yeah, obviously it's all hooked up, and yeah, see how much trouble it gives me trying to get it pulled up. It's uphill, so see what she does. Alright, so we got it dragged across the driveway now. My poor clutch. At one point I turned around and looked, and there was smoke everywhere. To the point where I stopped and I idled it down and I was looking for flames, but luckily there weren't no flames. It was just a clutch. New one's supposed to be here Thursday. Safe to say that. So, get it unhooked. We have to hook it up there now and drag it, pivot it that way and drag it down a little. So, yeah. See how it goes. Yeah, so I guess a clutch is definitely on the list now. Hopefully it goes better than the other one. But so we got it dragged out. It's on the side of the driveway here. I decided the best thing to do probably is to just come up with the truck and the chainsaw and just block it up right here. I mean, it can't really get a whole lot easier than this. Yeah, some of you probably noticed, but I had another chunk snap off. It's, you kind of see it up there in the driveway. But I think up till right about in here probably, it's probably good wood. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. I mean, I would say I hope so because I ruined my clutch, but it was kind of already on the way out the door anyways, so. But I'm gonna walk up here, fix my tire tracks. No one's here, but I mean, the right thing to do. You never know when someone's going to show up, so might as well leave it just as good condition as it was when you came. Obviously the driveway ain't really nothing special, but yeah. So I mean, she didn't do too bad. I was a little worried for a second there because she wasn't moving the log, but she dragged it eventually. Just gotta wiggle it the right direction. So yeah, this snapped off the top, which honestly, first glance, it really isn't bad wood. I mean, it's not rotted. It must just be the holes, but I think I'm just gonna drag this to the side and I might block it up. At the moment, I don't have, it's not, well, not last year, but the year before last, and the 2 years before last year, I had more than enough wood to the point that, I mean, it was all pine, but I was sorting out, like the super ugly ones that didn't split well. I would sort them out and take them up to the outdoor boiler and, use them there. But yeah, that wood's all gone now, so I'm kind of scrounging. But Dad also, he'll, clean up limbs and, clear trees and stuff sometimes if people want him to. So we have outdoor wood boilers, so we get by. You know, you just gotta know ask the right people. Actually, this right here, I think it ain't a very big piece. Let's see, we wrap a chain right around this. I think I'm actually gonna back the tractor up and we get a couple blocks out of this, at least. But you know, one day I just mentioned to him, you know, said, hey, if you come across any wood that, you know, sugar house quality, I need some. And then next thing I know, you know, I don't know what, we were coming up here, but we mow the lawn up here too. So we come up here and he goes, okay, so there's a log there. It could get dragged out. Actually, he might have pointed out that one too. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, there's one up top too. I could go drag that too. Yeah, cleaning up the driveway, and I'm going to decide to drag another log down. But, so, you know, you got a voice for a reason, I guess. Might as well use it. A little harder for me, but I got wood now, so. Yeah, now I got to walk all the way back down to the tractor. But I think I'm going to call that good for this video. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around if you made it to this point. I know that it could probably get tough to keep watching when, you know, all I'm doing is jerking back and forth on a log, but I mean, it's fun for me. But so yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, you know, subscribing and hitting the thumbs up button and all that fun stuff. Obviously some of you might have noticed that I'm just barely, you know, getting started. At the moment that I'm recording this video, I have 9 subscribers, so if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated. Yeah. Hang around for the next video. Thanks for watching.